Autobots, roll out. We're going live. This is Tim. You know who it is. You know what's going on. What's going out there, Giants land, in the Giants world, in the Giants universe. Oh, you know what? It's a Sunday. Sunday. Let's turn that off because I got so much stuff going on. Sunday. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got the New York Giants, of course, having the rookies in camp. We got some players that have already gone under contract. We have the big sexy Dexy coming in strong, coming in big, coming in fast.
That's what she said.
Oh, so we got the GAT contract. Let's go through. We got Mike Lee already crapping. We got like me already coming through. What do you see here? Mike Lee says smash the like button on the way in. We got Giants among Montgomery. We got the skyline dropping in. We have the Zach Attack saying Jim has signed for the New York Giants as a defensive line coach. R0B has been signed as an offensive line coach. This is now breaking news. We got Jay in his house. We got it's party time. Because you know what? Anytime T-Brad's in the house, it's a party time. We got Max on the beat saying sexy Dexy. We got OGR Sports. We got Jeff coming in, sir. I finally caught one of these. Sexy Dexy's contract. I have no problem with it. He has earned his money. Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence has earned his cash. I think it's, I think it's a fair market deal. I think a lot of people, I laugh because a lot of people are sitting there like going, well, the Giants got this great deal. You're still giving him $60 million over 4, it's a 4-year contract, $60 million guaranteed, $90 million extension. That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cabbage. That's some more Ray. And then I have people that are like, well, we're going to get cap relief. You didn't get cap relief because he signed his extension. You received cap relief because he signed the extension, then restructured his 2023 deal. Just want people to get it right. I see so much misinformation on the social media. That's what he did. That's what was done. I mean, he is going to have. Is he going to take his cash and turn into a Leonard Williams?
King of the almost sacked.
I don't think so. 68 tackles, 33 of those were assists, 68 combined, 7.5 sacks. He had his moments. He stepped up big. He also had his moments where he disappeared in games, and we also had the moments where we had issues in reference to stopping the run. So now you have Dexter Lawrence. You're gonna have right now. You're gonna have Dexter Lawrence making a huge amount of money this year. He's not gonna be back next year. I don't think they're gonna restructure his deal. I don't think they're gonna do anything. He's just not gonna be back. And then you turn around and you give Dexter this money. So it's interesting because, I mean, if you look at where the New York Giants cap space is going, and everyone talks about the oodles and noodles and bundles of cap space that we were going to have in 2024. Well, you're starting to eat into that space. You're slowly starting to chip away at that space. Yeah, you still got about 60 million in cap space. But that's also not inclusive of the total amount of the Dexter Lawrence contract. And right now, Giants have about, even with the restructure, going to have about $1 million plus in salary right now. And if you take a look at their total number, they have a total number of 87 contracts. And right now, if you take a look at the total number of 87 contracts that they currently have on the books, the Giants are negative $27 million in cap space. I am not sounding the alarm yet. I am not sounding well, maybe I am sounding the alarm a little bit. But right now, like I said, you look at the fact that the Giants currently have 87 people under contract. And if you take a look at their total contract value, you're looking at negative $27 million in cap space. And if you look at the adjustable cap at $229 million against the rule of 51, which is 28.8 right now, I'm not sure exactly where the Barkley money is going to come from. I can't see them restructuring a deal for Leonard. I can't see them restructuring the deal for Adoree Jackson. And honestly, those are your contracts. You're not going to restructure Andrew Thomas because he's going to get paid unless you can't get rid of Glowinski. You can't, you got the Thibodeau contract. You don't have a backup, and you have a $5 million cap hit for getting rid of Tyrod Taylor. You got Evan Neal, you got Graham Gano, you got Bobby, you got Paris, you got Darius Slayton. These are all guys you also brought in. The only contracts you could potentially restructure or extend would be Leonard Williams and Adoree Jackson. Those are it. Those are your contracts. And I find it, it's just weird that we're kind of heading down this primrose path again in reference to the salary cap. And I'm not saying that Shane doesn't know. I'm not saying that Shane doesn't know what he's doing. I'm not bringing that up. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is this, that Shane, he's got a lot of work to do. He's got work to do. He's got work to do for the Saquon Barkley contract. We got Christopher saying, GM Tim, is Barkley next to sign? Unless you're restructuring, I don't know where the money's coming from. Because we still haven't signed our guaranteed contracts for the rookies. I don't know what's going on. We got Irish Rover in his house. We got the Skyline saying Dexter contract doesn't bother me. His contract plus Daniel Jones' contract bother me. That does bother me a little bit. That bothers me slightly, but these guys were going to have to get paid. Well, one of them was going to have to get paid. And if you take a look at the contracts, let me just see where my spreadsheet is here. Like I said, we don't your top contracts, you're gonna have Daniel Jones eating up 19% of your cap space, and you're probably gonna have Dexter, Sexy Dexy, eating up another 11. Those are big cap numbers to have at the top. And if you take a look at the 2024 salaries, you got Bobby up there he's got a dead cap of 16 on a cap hit of 11. You got Kayvon Thibodeau, Darius Slayton, Glowinski's going to be gone, only going to cost us $1 million. You have Evan Neal. I mean, I don't know. It's good. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, I just don't know where the Barkley money comes from. Unless you convert some of the guaranteed money for Dexter Lawrence, for Leonard Williams into bonus money, convert some of that salary into bonus. It's the only thing I can think of. But we have to wait and see. Max on the beat says, I thought he was going to get more than Deron Payne, and we're paying him the same amount, less API, because it's a 5-year deal and Payne was a 4. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly right. We got Rob coming in late.
Sorry.
Coming in late. I apologize. There will be some lame excuse. So let's hear the lame excuse.
I have 4 kids.
That's a lame excuse.
You know what? There's a farmer down the road on the other side of my complex, and he had some deranged pig that got loose, and I was letting my dogs out, and he was chasing my dogs. He was drooling at the mouth, and I was scared for, my life, and I had to fight off this ham. So, eventually I got him free, and he's in my oven cooking right now. I had to clean up the mess. So that's why I'm late.
See, that's a better excuse.
Okay.
That's the one that we're going with. Not I have kids. We are going with that excuse.
Okay.
So I like that one. But Christopher says, how come no one is talking about or hear about the James Washington and others were signing at the end of last year and early this year? Because they're probably not going to make the team. And we signed all of the greatest undrafted free agents in the history of free agentdom, undrafted free agentdom. Did you know this? Oh. We signed the greatest players that are ever going to be history in the. I mean, we have one wide receiver who is Jerry Rice, Steve Largent, everyone combined.
I think you're being too harsh on this kid. I do.
I'm not being harsh on the kid at all. I'm being harsh on the people that are making him out to be something that he is not.
Well, I agree saying that he's going to be like the next, DK Metcalf, or, the guy hasn't even taken a snap yet, so
all I hear, he has the intangibles at 6'3" and runs a 4.38.
Oh, he's 6'4".
6'4" and runs a 4.38, and those intangibles. And I tried to explain to someone on Twitter, football is not played in a straight line.
No, it's not. I mean, he's got some good film. Look, I think Bryce Ford Wheaton is going to be a decent player. I think he's going to make the roster. I think he does have what it takes to be a good wide receiver. They brought him in on a 30, on a final 30 visit. It just so happened that they didn't, obviously they didn't draft him because there were higher players on their board, but he's got to put in the work.
There's
I could see him
higher players
taking
on
a
the
Hodgins
board in
spot.
7 rounds. There were higher players. There was higher players on the boards of 31 other teams. Zach Attack, who goes to West Virginia, has mentioned on multitudes of occasions that they call this gentleman Lando Lakes because he has butterfingers and he drops basically everything. That's what they call him in West Virginia.
I watched a lot of his tape. He has concentration drop issues, which is easily coachable, but he's got very good hands, catch the ball in contested situations.
He complains after a big drop that cost his team a game that the reason he dropped the ball, and this has been confirmed, is because the crowd noise bothered him.
I think we're looking too much into this.
I don't think no, I'm not. I'm just bringing out the points that scouts have said the same things. Inconsistent, bad hands, disappears for long stretches of period of time, has an issue. This is for a guy that's 6'4", runs a 4.38, has an issue creating separation. And like I said, these are from scouting reports. This is not for me. And I'm not making fun of you because you watch his game film, but like I say this.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
I'm going to. Like I say this over and over again. When you're watching game film, you are watching a singular play, and you are judging his career. Not you. I'm saying other people off singular plays. He may have 40 other plays in a game, but people are watching the 3 highlights and not the 37 other plays. For a guy that is such big potential in a league that is known for passing and not playing defense at West Virginia, he only had 600 yards. David Sills had 2,000-yard seasons in a row.
Yeah, but you got to look at his situation, though, where he came from. The quarterback play in West Virginia was absolutely atrocious. He did not have – I think he played with like 2 different quarterbacks this past year. He had TJ Daniels or something like that, and then he had some other guy. The quarterback performance or the quarterback play was absolutely awful. And, yeah, he only had like 700 yards and I think like 7 touchdowns or 8 touchdowns or something like that or whatever. But he's good at blocking. He's a good blocker. He's physical in that regard. I see him make some contested catches. Look, at the end of the day, I don't agree with people overhyping the kid. I don't agree with that. But I do think that he has the scores are the scores as far as his arm length, what he did in cone drills, his 40 time, his 10 yard, all of that. Like, he's got the times and the intangibles there, but can he unlock it? Like, can the wide receiver coach do it? Can they do it?
As soon as they put cones on the field and allow players to play with cones around them, cone drill means nothing to me. Cone drill is an intangible in reference to
it's a speed drill.
It's a speed. How many times did the Raiders draft purely on speed? Al Davis was known, going back to the Mad Bomber, Daryl LaMonica, to just get speed because Al's opinion was speed kills. And how many times in the late 90s, early 2000s, and mid 2000s did Al draft on speed? And none of these players are either in the league or on the roster anymore.
Agreed.
I'm just saying this. Do you remember Benjamin Victor?
Who?
Victor Benjamin. Excuse me, Victor Benjamin.
Victor Benjamin. That name sounds familiar, but
Austin Mack. Austin Mack.
No, don't know that one.
These were all players 2 years ago, which were the greatest wide receivers ever to come out of college that the Giants signed as undrafted free agents.
Were they 6'4"?
Yes. And they came from Ohio State. So they came
that's your problem. That's your problem right there.
They came from a top 10 school with NFL talent at not only a quarterback, but also line talent and everything else. These are the guys that were going to come in here, set the league asunder. It was going to be incredible. And I remember these videos. I remember these tweets about he's 6'4", 300, 200 pounds and runs a 4.38. And you should have seen him jumping in rookie minicamp. They didn't even make it at a mandatory camp.
Well, I mean, if all of the things that you're saying that the scouts are saying are true, right? in regards to his, his work ethic or getting lazy or he disappears or whatever, then he won't make the team.
Right.
But if he makes the team, no more, Tim.
How many wide receivers?
If he makes the team,
how many wide receivers did we bring in?
I think we have like 13 right now.
Okay. And how many of those
like total on the team? Like I think there's like 13 or 14.
Do you so when we brought in Brad Smith and Crowder and Campbell.
Oh, you're talking about like in the offseason? How many did we bring in?
Yeah.
Oh, we brought in Campbell. We brought in Brad. We brought Jamison Crowder. We drafted Hyatt. Bryce Ford Wheaton. I mean, I think we brought in those are 5 guys.
Yeah, but not counting Wheaton, just guys that were brought in either vis-a-vis rookie contracts, drafted high in the draft, or
5
free agency.
5.
I love this struggle. These are from scouting reports. Struggles with separation, inconsistent hands yields way too many drops. Currently, a one-dimensional player whose college offense leaves a lot of growth. Developmental curve will be something that is needed time, patience to work through.
Yeah, but again, you got to look at the situation that the guy came from. West Virginia was not very good. The quarterback position.
Here you go. From a student at West Virginia who goes to the games. Rob, University of West Virginia doesn't run a complicated offense. However, Bryce Ford Wheaton makes the team's first drops he makes. The fan base will turn on him.
I mean, look, that may be true. What I'm saying is I like the kid. I like his intangibles. I like what he has to bring. At the end of the day, the drops, the separation or whatever, like those are all things that are coachable. If we have good coaches, like everybody likes to say, oh my God, we've got the best coaches, right? If he makes the team, they should be able to work with this kid. If you don't make the team, it's because the kid can't make the team. Period. End of story. Like that. I mean, that's what it is. I'm not sitting here saying the kid's going to be DK Metcalf, Calvin Johnson. I'm not going to say he's going to be Randy Moss. But what I'm saying is he's 6'4", and it's very hard to come around guys that are 6'4", 220 pounds and run 4.3s. So if they can harness his whatever talent and get him to break through whatever he was struggling with in West Virginia, which were not good yet last year, which had horrible quarterback play, then yeah,
So we're saying that quarterback play is indicative of a wide receiver success.
I'm talking about when you're playing like with a clueless quarterback. Daniel is not clueless. I think Daniel is better than any quarterback that they had playing at West Virginia.
6'3". So if a guy's like 6'3", 220, and he's got speed and he's got good hands and he's coming from maybe not a great situation in reference to his college career, but he has all the intangibles. He should have an opportunity to make the team.
He should. And I think that with his size, right? His size, his speed, his weight and everything like that. I understand like maybe his attitude problem. Like if he quits or gives up, if he comes in with the right attitude and say, hey, listen, you know what? This is my one chance, maybe my one opportunity. This would be the coaching staff. If you can't succeed here, then I don't know. Like if you can't make this team as a wide receiver, 6'4", 220, running 4.3, with the kind of coaching staff that we got and what we have at wide receiver, I don't know what to say. Like, then you're just bad.
So at 6'3", 217, with all the intangibles, that player probably should make the team and probably contribute.
Depends on the player.
So the dangerous David Sills, who's 6'3", 217, who has all the intangibles and put up much bigger numbers at West Virginia with a bad quarterback.
He's just not good. David Sills just not good.
But we've been waiting for 4 years for the dangerous David Sills. We got Irish Rover coming in. Hey, Tim. Hey, Rob. It's May. There's plenty of time for Dable, Kafka, and Wink to sign the best players for 2023. Let the competition begin. I agree. We also have the OGR Sports. I hate to say it, but I have to agree with Rob on this one. I'm not saying not give the kid a shot. I'm not saying not give the kid a shot at all.
That's what I'm talking about, OGR.
I'm not saying don't give the kid a shot. What I'm saying is this: you don't anoint someone the second coming of Jerry Rice when he hasn't even put on a helmet, and he did put on a helmet yesterday.
Yeah, and that I don't agree with.
You don't anoint, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. And this is the problem I have. And like I said, maybe it's because I'm older, wiser, better looking. These are the things that I see, that you have these people, and then when they don't make the team, it's like everything that people spoke about just disappears.
See, what will happen is if you don't make the team, he'll go to another team, have success, and then it's like, oh, fucking Dable, like you let another man go, or fucking Kafka, you let him walk right out the door, like you couldn't get anything. Joe Shane, you suck. That's what it'll be.
We got a super sticker from the Big Don. Big Don, who helped man down the stream, or man up on the stream, which was fantastic. He also is gifted. He's also, if you haven't looked on your chat, he's also gifted one online Big Blue membership. Make sure hopefully someone grabbed that gift. Let's see. I love Christopher says, sounds like Evan Ingram. Yeah, it kind of does sound like Evan Ingram.
Oh, now that's tough.
But
that's harsh.
Evan Ingram, to his fault, not even to his fault, but Evan Ingram had a very good scouting report. We actually read. You weren't even around for this shit, Rob, but I think it was last year. I actually got an actual NFL scouts scouting report on Evan Ingram. We read it. We read the complete thing, and it was funny because he. The thing that he said, the biggest on his scouting report was the fact that is not that he had issues with his hands, that he had issues with concentration. And I was like, oh, okay, that's and
I think Evan Ingram was a good player. I just think he was. I think he was in a bad situation, and I'm so happy for him. I know this is off topic, but I'm so happy for him that he's in Jacksonville, because Doug Peterson's going to use him like he used Zach Ertz, like he used Brent Selleck and stuff like that. Like he is with a head coach that loves tight ends. So I love what they did with him last year. I think he had a career year last year as far as for statistical wise. So he was just in a bad situation, and I think there was a lot of pressure on him to be like the Jeremy Shockey and carry the team for like Jeremy did. And I don't think anybody could carry the team like Jeremy. I mean, Jeremy was our whole offense for a good couple of years before Eli even got there. Like he was the main guy, so. But happy for Evan.
I'm happy for Evan as well. Chris says we can only carry 8 wide receivers, right, Tim? Well, a lot of teams only carry 6.
I think we're going to carry 7 or 8, maybe.
But the problem is, if you are going to carry 7 or 8, those other 2 have to be standout special teams players. The reason that the dangerous David Sills never made the team until last year is because he can't play special teams.
Correct.
I mean, that was the biggest reason, because if you're going to be a bottom end wide receiver, you need to either return punts, or you're going to need to you're gonna need to be the gunner. You're gonna have to do something. OG says facts about the game tape. Yeah, game tape is game tape. And this is the only thing that bothers me about the game tape. You're looking at one play, and people diagnose one play ad nauseum. There could be anywhere between 40 to 60 offensive plays in a game. So yes, looking at his highlight, you know what? If you want to look at I think we played it once too. If you want to look at my highlight film, it's great. Doesn't show all the bad shit I did.
Let me guess. I made 11 tackles, but I won't talk about the 19 I missed.
Actually, I made 19 tackles. I actually made.
Oh, the 11 I missed. My bad. I had it reversed.
And I missed 11. But if you look at those 19 tackles, I look like a fucking monster. You don't see the play where the guy caught the ball and did a pirouette, and I literally grabbed air. And then I fell on the ground. I turned, I looked up, and he's on the end zone. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did he go? So he's not supposed to be able to do that. I just made 19 tackles. What the hell's his problem?
Now, I know it was a little bit late, but did you touch on the Dexter Lawrence contract? Give your opinion.
We did. We're gonna get back to that, but I want to get through
cool.
I'm gonna get through some of these people's comments. Philosophy Stoner says, "Good morning, Bryce Ford.
Philosopher.
Oh, fast, but he's not twitchy or quick. He will struggle in separation to separate in the NFL. corners will sit on his routes. And that's basically what every scouting report
Well,
said.
DK doesn't really get separation. He's just big and physical. Again, like, you know, and Ford Wheaton's body frame is semi like that. You know, he's so if Ford Wheaton can, again, this is a stretch, but if Ford Wheaton can't separate, but can be physical, then I would be okay with that.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Damn it. Would have been funny.
Yeah. What's yours?
I can't find it. Oh, there we go. He was physical. He couldn't get separation. He had 1,000-yard seasons.
As you can plainly
And he's probably not going to be in the league. Sorry, but
I'm paying him $70 million.
we're not going to pay him anything because he's going to be around Home Depot.
Oh my God. You are so harsh on this Ford. You know what? I blame all of these Jerry Rice, DK Metcalf people. They've absolutely made you hate this kid.
No, I don't hate the kid at all. I don't hate the kid at all. What I dislike is the fact that, and the Giant fans do this every year. And I did the Return to Gotham podcast we've been dropping a couple episodes here, and I do an episode this week that speaks about, I ranked the fan base knowledge of all the New York teams. And I'm gonna break the news to you in reference to, you know, basically who is the most knowledgeable fans. I'm gonna tell you right now, Giant fans are towards the bottom of the list. And I'm not trying to be rude and I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just being, and like I said, when the episode comes out, I'm gonna make sure we're gonna pump it up, make sure everybody sees it. And I give the entire, and I gotta give the rationale here, but I give the entire rationale with data. Because everyone says you like to talk, but don't give data. And then I give data and people all of a sudden disappear.
They vanish.
They vanish. Mr. Belford, Rob, I got speed. I didn't get drafted by the NFL, but I think UPS has a spot for him. Let me talk to my scouts. I'm going to tell you something. There are some guys at UPS that run real quick out of the trucks. And I'm amazed because I always wonder why people don't steal the trucks. But we have a UPS guy that is quick. He's like cat-like quickness. I think he's about 6'4", runs a 4.38.
You guys are awful. You guys are terrible. Terrible.
Oh, sorry. There's love here, but you have to do something to get love. That's like people are like, you aren't mean about the Dexter Lawrence contract. No, because Dexter Lawrence, while it's slightly under market value, it's still a large chunk of change, 60 million guaranteed. But you know what? He's done something in his career to earn the money, to earn the contract. Yes, he took a step back when Dalvin Tomlinson left, but I said when Dalvin left, if he takes a step back, he's gonna have to refine his footing, reestablish himself, and remarket himself as a player, and that's what he did. So he deserves the money he got. He is worth the $20 million a year, but he's got to pick up.
To be fair, he was still playing out of position after Dalvin left.
I don't.
Wait, when did Dalvin leave?
2 years ago. Last year was the second year without Dalvin Thompson.
Okay, yeah. So his first year without Dalvin was with Joe. Was Joe's second year, correct?
That was correct. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so he was still playing defensive end when he played nose tackle in college. Now he's playing his real position.
I agree. He's playing his natural position. I agree with that. And like I said, I think the contract value is good. But
Tim Wheaton.
Tim Wheaton is not the second coming to Jerry Rice.
No, I like that. Your new name is Tim Wheaton. I like the way that I know that's not what he meant, but we're gonna go with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming in at 6'2", 230 pounds, Tim Wheaton.
That's a great boxing name. That is a great boxer name, Tim Wheaton.
Tim Wheaton.
I think that's gonna be my new boxing name. Everyone knows that if I ever have to disappear and go to another country and live for other reasons, my name is either going to be Pablo Sanchez or it's Lars Vanden Heuler. Of course, I'm also leaning towards Carlos Spicy Wiener, but I haven't made the direct decision on that yet.
Spicy Wiener.
That's French. Christopher said he had bad coaching when he was here. Jacksonville, Mike, what does Mike say? Jacksonville has a good to elite quarterback. DJ is not. I agree. What does Big Don have to say? Tim, I wasn't afraid of him in college. Good receivers, wide receivers make quarterbacks look competent. You can't have soft skin in New York. Well, I have soft skin because I use this lotion.
I did. I used lotion this morning.
See, we have soft.
So Don, you're not correct, Don. I lived in New York and had soft skin. Oh,
hey, is
this
on?
Is this on? Is this on? Ladies and gentlemen, New York traffic. How about it?
Oh, okay. That's it. Just gotta get the wall behind Rob. Jay said there's only a few wide receivers left that can be contested catch guys because the league's not going towards that way. And this is kind of no, exactly. He's actually kind of right. The league is not good. I mean, name me 5, Rob. Truly good contested catch wide receivers.
you mean like guys that can make like catches with a guy like
Guys that make their bread and butter being contested catch guys. Big guys that make their bread and butter being contested catch guys.
Well, I mean, Odell made a lot of plays.
Okay, now, not in 2014. And Odell was a speed guy. And Odell made spectacular catches more than he made contested catches. I'm talking a guy in the last 2 years. It should be easy. Every team has one.
I would probably say the last 2 years. I'd have to say D-Hop is one. He makes a lot of contested grabs.
When he's not suspended.
You always got something to say about somebody, don't you?
Was he suspended or not?
He was, but
is he injured all the time or not?
No, he wasn't injured.
He was injured.
He's barely injured.
He got injured not last year, 2 years ago. That's when Kyler Murray fell off the planet. It's only an hour-long show, Rob.
I don't know. I don't know. AJ Brown.
That's what you got. You got AJ Brown.
You're rushing me. Damn it. Fuck.
You were late. How am I rushing you? You're coming late. You should come in with facts. What does Davey say? Tim, I miss you. Come on. You have to show your speed.
Well, Davey, what am I? Fucking chopped liver?
Yes.
All right.
Who was number 7 on the Giants?
Who was number 7? Geno Smith.
Isn't that No, number 7's retired. I think it's Mel Hine.
No, Geno was wearing 7.
No,
Geno wore 7 when he was here.
7,
no, he didn't. He wore 3.
3. Number 7's retired. I believe. I think it's Mel Hine. I can never remember. Or
I'll look it up.
Look it up. I think it's Mel Hine. It's a retired number. I know that. I can't remember the player right on the top of my head. Hey, Irish Rovers, hit the like button for Tim and Rob, but really, Tim, since Rob was late, make sure you hit the like button.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was dancing, man.
I was jamming out while I was doing what I had to do earlier. All right, so
Rob, when did you see him play live on the field? Bryce Ford Wheaton.
I watched a couple of West Virginia games last year during the college season, but I never played him.
See him play? No, that's not the question. When did you see him play live at field level?
Never.
Okay. Was it a hard question to answer? Sort of like the contested catch wide receivers. Jay says DeAndre Hopkins is one of my favorite wideouts, but a lot of people would rather take Adams. Actually, I probably would take Devontae Adams too as a number 1 because he's always open. Yeah, I agree with that. DJ Metcalf is a contested catch wide receiver. Mike Evans.
Mel Hine, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. Mel Hine. He joined the Giants in 1931, played 15 seasons, a team record.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his number 7 is retired. I thought Geno wore 7.
No.
Guess I was wrong.
He did wear 3. DJ Metcalf is a contested wide receiver. Davey says you have a figure of number 7 on your shelves. That is actually, yes, that looks like a giant. That's actually a decanter bottle because I'm an alcoholic. So that while it looks like a Giant uniform, it's not really a Giant uniform. That is someone gave me that. That's from the
We'll say that's Mel Kine.
We'll say it Mel Hine.
Mel Hine. Say it's Mel Hine. That's Mel Hine, guys. Right there.
Yeah, it could be.
Right there.
Yeah, that's Mel Hine. That's what
Mel Hine gave it to him personally. That's how old Tim is.
Yeah. Trust me, we had people over last night.
Oh my God.
We had people over last night, and all I know is, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at these people like, it's 9:30. When are you going home? I need to go to bed. I'm old.
I got a show to do.
I got to work, man. Hine was the center. Yes, he was. He was a Hall of Fame center. That is correct. So you had the Giants. You had the rookies in, or most of the rookies in yesterday. And we had a short 2-day camp. Giants stressed vis-a-vis this camp that this was going to be a light camp because they are concerned about injuries, and they want to make sure that no one. And it's always a smart thing to do. Make sure that you don't go.
Well, yeah, you go. They went heavy last year because it was their first year. So
and they could go to camp early last year because of the fact that they had a rookie head coach.
Yeah, so you got to get in earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, so they stressed this year that it was going to be just a light workout. They are going to err on the side of caution. They basically said, which I'm fine with, which I don't have a problem with, which I think is a smart thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and also, Rob, think about it for the fact for these 2 days, it was Friday and Saturday. What were you really going to accomplish besides getting them fitted? I mean,
I think they probably wanted to, get him out there, see how these players moved around, at least maybe get their. I mean, what these guys haven't, as far as from a college level, they haven't played football in a couple months, right? A few months. So they want to try to get their bodies getting ready to go. I think camp starts in like the end of June, beginning of somewhere in July is when OTAs and stuff like that start, which is not that far away. So then they wanted to kind of get him into the building, get him assessed, get him evaluated a little bit, kind of see what they're, see where they're at going into camp and where they want to, where they see these guys ranking. So I think, and we cut a couple of players already. I think we cut, a wide receiver, I thought, and an O lineman or something.
We cut a couple of guys because we needed them. We needed the salary. And we also have 4 that have signed their rookie deals in Gray and Hawkins and Owens and Riley. So you already got 4, you already got 4 of the draft class under contract. It's probably going to be a little bit longer.
Shocking. They did that after Dexter Lawrence signed. Shocker there.
You probably would have known this if you came up on time. We already went through the salary cap situation right now, and how the Giants have 60-something players in the contract, and total contract value against the cap is negative $28 million. And right now, without the Dexter Lawrence restructure, they're sitting at about $600,000 in cap space, needing still about $3 million to sign their top 3 picks. So that it is going to be interesting. And we also went over the fact that really the only contracts that you have right now that you have any flexibility with would be the Leonard Williams and the Dory Jackson contracts. And I still don't.
What did they free up with Dex? Like what, $5 million?
Do not have the numbers yet. Do not have the official numbers.
Okay.
Yet. So once
I know whatever they did with Dex, I think gave them the money they needed for the draft class. I'm pretty sure, at least at that.
The issue is that Shane has already mentioned that he wants the minimum of $10 million in operational cap space during the season. So he's
there's a guy out there that they can sign that would free up about $5 million in cap space. His name is Saquon Barkley.
The problem with this is I don't think Shane wants to pay Barkley.
I do. I think they're going to get a deal done. Because here's the thing. I don't think he wants to touch Leonard Williams or Dory. I don't. And people could say, now this doesn't, me saying this doesn't mean that they won't do something, right? But to me, Leonard already came out and said, I want to be here. I want to play with Dex. I want to do that. I'll take a pay cut, but then he retracted it. That would have been very easy, in my opinion, to get an extension done with him right when the season was over. That would have been a very easy thing.
But
You want to be here?
Then Shane came out with a which I thought was a very weird cryptic thing that says you don't ask your best player to take a pay cut or restructure. I thought that was weird because there are many very good to great players over their careers who have taken pay cuts or hometown discounts or taken less money or restructured to help their teams get under cap.
Yeah, exactly. Eli did it before. Tom Brady's done it before. Many players have done it.
Tom Brady's done it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And
so
at times took way less.
Tom Brady was. I mean, people were talking about how Michael Jordan was paid for a good, underpaid for a good portion of his career. So was Tom Brady was underpaid for pretty much all of his career, like all of his career. So, and that's good for him. And he won a lot of championships. He probably all of that money that he was underpaid, he probably made it back with how many conference championship games he made too, and Super Bowls he made it to, and endorsements and all that other stuff. I just think that if they were going to get something done with Leonard Williams, it would have been done already. If they wanted to do something with Adoree Jackson, it would have been done already. I think what they want is they're going to eat their medicine, just like they did with Kenny Golladay. They're going to eat their medicine this year with Leonard Williams. They're going to give him his $32 million that he's guaranteed this year. And then after that, they want him off the books. And if they want to bring him back, they'll get an extension done. If they don't, then they can walk away and they could do whatever it is that they want to do. I don't think they're going to touch that. Either one of them. The only one that maybe they might touch is Adoree. And that's maybe. Just maybe. I don't think they're going to touch Leo at all. I think he's done.
We have Big Don who's still out there gifting memberships to the online Big Blue OG membership. So thank you, Mr. Big Don. I don't think so. I agree. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, if you're gonna do, he's gonna have to do something either way. He's gonna have to, because we have. I have said this before. We have not reached critical mass yet in reference to the Giants salary cap, because we're still under the rule of 51. But like I said, I get worried when I pulled up my spreadsheet yesterday and I came up with the total contract values, and they have 87 contracts on the books right now, and total contract values for all 80. I have, other people have different numbers, but I have 28.46. That's negative 28.46. With the rule of 51, I have them a little over 228. With the cap, adjusted cap space of 229. I mean, the thing you can do is the Barkley contract, but I keep trying to move the numbers around and change players in and out. Something still has to be done, because, and again, I always say this, and I've said this a billion times, and I don't want anyone to get mad at me, but
I did not invent math.
Sorry. Everyone got mad at me for years because I kept telling people when we were going to have salary cap issues. And then when it happened, people were like, well, you're just negative. No, I didn't invent math. I'm sorry. I'm not sure who the inventor of math is, but it's not me. So I can only go by the numbers. So something still needs to be done structural wise on some contract.
I have the answer.
But again, these numbers also right now do not include the rookie class or the Dexter restructure.
You want to know who's going to get restructured?
Who?
Daniel Jones. They're going to change his numbers around for this year.
It can't. He's got a dead cap number of 82 million against a salary of 21.
Yeah, but I think they'll do something with the signing bonus.
They can't, because they already gave him the signing bonus. They can't convert any more of that money because they already gave him a large signing bonus.
They'll add I think they're going to do something with Dan. I think they'll do something with Daniel before they do anything with Leo.
That would be so dumb. That would be.
I agree, but
that would make zero sense.
I agree with you, but I could see them, because look, they can go ahead and they're going to sign. I think they're going to sign Saquon, and they're going to probably give him like a 4-year, $50 million deal. I think 40 million of it is going to be guaranteed. His first year this year, his cap hit will be like $5 or $6 million. And then he'll make like 14 or 15 next year. And then he'll be under on the cap for the year in 2025. It'll be like 18 million. But like if they could get out of it, they'll have like some type of void in it or something like that or whatever. If he's not played probably maybe a certain amount of snaps or or he got injured or he missed a certain amount of games, they can get out of it without, with like maybe a minimal cap loss. So right there, you're going to free up like $4 or $5 million with him. These are the guys that I think that they might do something with. A would be Daniel Jones, maybe. B, I don't know what they could free up, but maybe Mark Lewinsky. They could do like a restructure with Mark Lewinsky, maybe.
Problem with his dead cap number is 8.6. His cap hit is 8.3.
Maybe they convert some of his money this year to a signing bonus, and
they already gave him 1.3 in a roster bonus, 300,000 in a workout.
You're talking about Lewinsky.
Yeah, and another 6. They've already converted or given him his base salary is only 4.6 million.
So they could maybe,
and they've already given him almost half of that as different types of roster bonuses, signing bonuses, workout bonuses, and miscellaneous bonuses.
So maybe you can't do anything there.
And the league won't let him take a veteran minimum. I mean,
yeah, you can't.
The Players Association won't allow that.
Yeah, it won't allow that. Trying to think of anybody on defense.
Here are your big contracts. You have Leonard Williams, Daniel Jones, Adoree Jackson, Dexter Lawrence now, Andrew Thomas, Saquon Barkley, Gowinski, Thibodeau, Taylor, Neal, Gano, Bobby Okereke, Paris Campbell.
That's a good one right there. What Jeff Newman said. I know you probably didn't put him up. What about Tyrod? Could they extend him a year?
Tyrod Taylor is only a $5 million dead cap number. And that's all he is.
So could they give him like a roster bonus or something like that?
They already gave him 1.4 million in a roster bonus.
But you can put him on a veteran minimum, right?
You could, but I doubt that again they're going to allow their second string quarterback. I don't see that happening because you're not really paying him that much, and if you restructure his deal, going to save $2 million because he's only a $5 million cap number.
Well, I know if they cut Darnay Holmes, they get like $2.7 million for getting rid of Darnay. That's got to be an option.
Darnay Holmes. Well, Darnay Holmes' dead cap number is only 1.97.
But they free up 2.7 if they cut him, right?
They will free up $2 million. They will free up 2.5 million if they cut him.
2.5. Okay.
2.5.
I think that, to me, this is what I would do. I would sign Barkley. You free up about $4 or $5 million there by changing what he's getting paid this year. You cut Darnay, get your 2.5. Me personally, I would extend Adoree Jackson. Give him 2 years. He'll be 30. Extend Adoree Jackson. At that point, he'll be 30 years old. And I think what's Adoree's cap hit this year? 10 or 11 million?
10 dead cap numbers. Well, his cap hit is 19.7.
What's his dead?
His dead cap is 10.4.
So you could free up $10.4 million by extending him.
Well, you also have to remember that he already has a $4.5 million signing bonus, and he's already had almost a $3 million restructure bonus that came in from that last contract. Because he's already been restructured.
Yeah, but this wouldn't be a restructure. They would just be extending him out 2 years.
They would be extending, yes, but there's only a certain portion of salary that you can convert into bonus. And unless you plan on doing something, and right now he's got $11 million base, and he's already has, let's see here, 7, 8, 9, almost $9 million in bonuses.
So if they extended him 2 years,
more than the gift they keep on giving.
If they extended him 2 years, what would they free up in cap?
If they extended him 2 years, is there any guaranteed money on those 2 years?
Maybe a little bit. Like what would you be extending him? Probably.
Well, the problem is he is going to have to get his guaranteed money. He's going to have to get his guaranteed cash. So you're going to probably have to. I don't even think I have his 2024 numbers because you're going to have to move it. And now the other thing is that people keep talking about our unlimited cap space in 2024. We're already down to 60 million, and that's not even counting the Dexter Lawrence contract with 47 active contracts. But here's the thing: if you extended Adoree Jackson into 2024, which would probably be a mistake. He's only got a $2 million dead cap number in 2024. 2.8.
Yeah, but this is the last year of his contract. He's off the books after this year.
That's what I'm saying. So, but he still has a dead cap number in 2024. He's got almost a $3 million dead cap number in 2024. Same with Leonard Williams.
But if they extended him 2 years, though, would they free up any money this year?
They would free up money this year, but then you are going to lose money next year. You're probably going to have to guarantee him at least another year. In other words, I am a player, and I've seen this before. I am a player. You want to extend me to save money, and I don't have a contract after this year. You have to give me something to say yes to this, because I'm getting this money in 2023 either way. You have to pay me that money no matter what.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you give him a 2-year deal, he'll be on the books until 2025.
Right. And then you're going to have at least an $11 million dead cap number in 2024, because he's going to want guaranteed money.
I would do that because I know it's like 60 million, but it's going to go up. We're going to have close to probably like $100 million. I would think.
No.
In 2024.
No.
Right somewhere near it.
Right now in 2024, unless the cap goes up and we keep the cap number to save, like I said, we have $66 million in total contracts with only 46 players under contract. And that's not accounting the money that is going to be rolled over for Dexter Lawrence. So Dexter Lawrence money, because we haven't gotten the full market value, but you figure he's going to be at least a $19 million cap hit. So you're already down to $46 million in 2024. People think this cap, again, like I said, I didn't make up the numbers. I don't make up math.
Yeah, but I thought we were supposed to have like $170 million next year.
Well, you gave Daniel Jones 45 million of that. You gave Dexter Lawrence another 20 of that. So you have 65 million. And then you have Andrew Thomas, who's getting a $14 million. You have Bobby, who's going to get $11 million. Darren Waller, you're going to save money because you're going to lose 13 of that off the books, because it's not guaranteed money. So you're right now, like I said, if you go by the current value and the current contracts, you're going to have, after the Dexter Lawrence contract, technically you have right now you have 46.6 million.
Well, I think the one thing that we're probably not discussing, which would be up for discussion, if Daniel Jones comes out this year and performs like he's going to be the guy, they could very easily change around this contract and free up money next year.
If he agrees to that.
If I'm sure he would. If he comes out and he performs and he's going to be here long term, they probably could. Slayton's going to probably get cut after next year. I don't think Slayton's going to be on this roster, so you're going to free up another $6 million there. So let me ask you this question, because we didn't talk about him.
Slayton's dead cap number is 1.7.
So you're going to free up him, 1.7. What about McKinney? What's McKinney's cap hit this year?
Well, here's the problem, and here's the other problem with McKinney. This is McKinney's last contract. This is his last year under this contract. So if you're going to sign McKinney, you're also going to push that money into 2024. And his number right now is only let's see here, the cap hits 2.6, the dead cap's 900,000.
I mean, that would be another guy that I think that they could sign now and just make his money into a signing bonus this year and free up another $2.7 million.
And we also have to worry that after next year, you have Azeez Ojulari that is coming up. And we also have to remember, we just picked up the 5th-year option on Andrew Thomas,
which is like 14 or 15.
14. Yeah, it's like,
but they could cut that down, which he's going to get extended, I think, mid-year in the offseason. So that number will come down a little bit, not much, but it'll come down a little bit.
I actually think that number will go up. I think it'll go up a little bit more and it'll come down, because you figure a top flight, if not one of the best left tackles in the league, is at least going to get 20 plus. And he's only
not on his 5th-year option.
No, not on his 5th-year option, but I'm saying under his new contract.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, like his 5th-year option year, which is next year, I don't think he'll make the 14 or 15. I think he'll probably make like 12 or like 11, between like 11 and 12, because he'll get his extension, and then he'll start making his big bucks in 2025.
Right.
Which will be somewhere in the realm of $25 to $28 million. It won't be that in 2025. I think in 2025 he'll probably be 18 to 20 million in 2025, and then after that it'll be like 25 to $28 million on an average after that.
All right, let's run. We're way behind on the chat. Let's see. Mr. Bruce says, "Hey Tim, hey Rob, how would you feel if Hyatt is our number one receiver this year?" I would not feel good about that. I love Hyatt. I think Hyatt's going to be a player, but I don't think he is ready to step into the shoes of a number one wide receiver.
If he proves it, I don't have a problem with it. But I don't think going into the season he's going to be a number one wide receiver. But from what he says, he talks a good game. Maybe he has the intangibles, but it's whether he actually does it on the field.
Okay, he's not 6'4" and doesn't run a 4.38. Okay, guys.
Oh my God.
Okay, guys. Do you guys think we still need a linebacker? I still think we need about 3 linebackers.
I wouldn't say 3. I'd say, well, you're talking about like inside linebackers?
Just linebackers in general.
If we're talking edge rushers and like outside pass rushers, like outside linebackers and inside, I'd say we need maybe 2. 1 outside and 1 inside.
So who are your 3, or who are your guys that are starting?
I think Beavers and Bobby are going to be the 2 starting interior guys, and then your outside backers is probably going to be Aziz and Tibbs.
So you're relying on Beavers, who got hurt first preseason game, to come in and step in right away and become one of your starting linebackers.
Yeah.
Oh, what about McFadden?
He's going to be the 3rd guy. I think he's going to be like probably the 4th guy. Because I think now, do I think Beavers is going to start? No, I think he'll earn it. But I think going into camp, I think Jared Davis will probably be the 2nd guy. There's talk about cutting Jared Davis.
Well, all right. Well, save 1.4 million because he has no dead cap number.
So if they cut him, then yeah, Beavers, and then at that point, I think McFadden would become the number 3 linebacker.
So you're okay with having Beavers, McFadden, and probably Fox.
Well, Fox is outside.
But I'm these are I'm talking the starting linebackers, people that are going to be rotating onto the field.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Carter Coughlin.
I mean, we've got the young guy the undrafted guy in Troy Brown. Look, I mean, there's no flashy guys that are out there. So right now they're in the process of rebuilding. You got McFadden that's coming in 2nd year into his system. Obviously, Beavers looked good before he tore his ACL last year. So hopefully, I mean, I thought he was looking great.
I was at that game. And it was his first game, and he gets hurt. I didn't see him looking good on the field when he got hurt.
He was looking good. He was looking good in training camp. He believe it or not, him and who was the other guy, the offensive lineman from North Carolina that we fucking took? McKeithen and Beavers were set to have some of the, and Darnay Holmes last year. Everybody was ranting and raving about Darnay Holmes. They were having great camps. Those were the 3 guys that were having great camps. And then
how did Darnay Holmes play?
Well, Darnay Holmes played like shit during the year.
So we can't equate having a good camp.
But I'm saying I can't say that Beavers didn't play good because he got injured. You know, he got injured on a freak injury.
But my thing is this: you are penciling him as a starter with no clinical data that he even has the opportunity. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying, but you have no clinical data.
I mean, look, the guy was a projected 2nd or 3rd round pick with his talent, and we got him in the 5th round. So he fell to the 5th round. So, and he was a projected 3rd round pick. So had we have taken a linebacker in the 3rd round, like a Calvin Pace, right? He would be starting, would he not? Hyatt's a 3rd rounder, and he would be. So at that point, yeah, he's got to start. Put him out there. As long if he's healthy, start him. See what you got. Because then if he's not working out, then you know that you still need to address that position in the offseason or during the season or whatnot. But if he's panning out, then that's one less position that you need to worry about. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with McFadden. I'm comfortable with Beavers, with Bobby. Timon Fox, he's done some decent things when he's got on the field. I know they re-signed O'Shane. I don't know if he'll make the roster or not. I think it was just for depth piece going in. I'll tell you one thing I would do. And I posted this on Twitter.
If you mention Patrick Queen or Isaiah Simmons, you're going to get wonka.
Well, I would trade for Isaiah Simmons, but
I warned him. I literally warned him. You get warned, you would think, oh, I probably shouldn't do this.
Listen,
Did you not get warned?
I did, and I don't.
Okay, see, he was about to use vulgarity. This is my bitch. I'm up in here. I run this shit.
Oh my God. I would trade for Isaiah.
Okay, he still hasn't learned. I had a puppy. He doesn't learn. Sometimes you gotta, sometimes you have to do things, Pavlov's dog and all that stuff. And sometimes you gotta learn.
Listen, I would move him to edge rusher is what I would do. I'm not having him play safety or interior linebacker. I would put him in
Hassan Reddick out of him.
Look, everybody was saying that about Hassan, and I think he had 12 and a half sacks his last year in Arizona. Then he did had 11 sacks
which I understand why he's never gotten really a big contract, because he's always produced. He really
when they were playing him at inside linebacker or safety, he didn't.
But what does he have over the last 3 years?
Well, he had 12 and a half sacks his last year in Arizona. Then he had 11 on his 1-year deal in Carolina. And then what did he have last year?
16.
What did he have?
16.
16. But
16.
But
he has produced 12 and a half, 11 and 16 in the last 3 years. So he should, and he's only been.
He should get a big time contract. Right now, Philly's got him on an absolute steal.
I just don't understand why he doesn't get paid. I'm just saying in general. I understand why he's.
No, I agree with you. I think after this year, he's gonna demand a good payout because he's produced. I think Isaiah's what, 6'3", he's 6'4", he's like what, 230, 240 pounds. He's got the body frame.
Does he run a 4.36?
He's fast.
He doesn't run a 4.36.
I don't get why Arizona hasn't put him on the outside. At least Arizona did that with Hassan Reddick. They didn't. I think he can play edge rusher. He's got power. I think he could get after the quarterback, put him out on the edge. So look, what would you be able to get him for? A 5th round pick, a 6th round pick, probably? That's nothing. And you get him for cheap. You get him for absolute dirt cheap. Bring him in and put him as another depth. I would actually, believe it or not, I would rather have him at edge rusher right now than O'Shane Ximines. He would be your 4th edge rusher. He would. Would he not? Would he not be your 4th, possibly your 3rd edge rusher on this team?
I don't think that was a good comparison. That's like, do you want to eat dirt or glass?
I'm just saying.
Which one do you want to eat?
I'm just saying.
It's not a good comparison.
I'm just saying. I would do it. I would give up a 5th or a 6th, trade for Simmons, put him at edge rusher, and if he shows promise, I would lock him up. Let's just say he comes out. Let's just say we're not going to do this, right? But let's just say we traded for Isaiah Simmons, and he gets like 10 sacks this year, or like 11 sacks or something like that in the rotation. I would lock him up for 3 years, because you're going to be able to lock him up for low, lock him up for 3 years, and then you can move on from him if you want. And that buys you some time. That gives you a good rotation. And at that point, you could, and at least that's giving you backup if Aziz doesn't pan out or Aziz gets hurt. Now you've got a good potential edge rusher. I think he's got the skill set for it. It's just about whether, and I think Wink could do it with him. I do. I trust Wink in that aspect. I mean, it's worth a shot for like a 5th or a 6th round pick. Those are nothing. I mean, hell, people are bitching about fucking Eric Gray and Jordan Riley as a fucking 6th or 5th round pick or whatever the fuck. Like, I would take Isaiah Simmons for that. I would.
Do you remember John?
Right now, if the draft was today, and you've got Isaiah Simmons or Eric Gray.
Do you remember the all-pro linebacker John Beeson?
He was great until he got hurt.
He was great. 28 years old, came over to the Giants, started 11 games, 93 tackles. Great season. Wonderful season. Signed him to a long-term contract. Didn't pan out.
But not everybody's John Beeson.
But he was.
Not everybody's John Beeson.
So I had I know, but I'm just pointing out again. I'm pointing out examples. I'm pointing out history.
But would you not do that right now, like a 5th round pick? Would you not, if Gray was on the board and Isaiah Simmons is on the board in the 5th round, Who would you take?
I would take Isaiah Simmons.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if people are over, that's what I'm trying to say is like, if people are okay with Eric Gray right now that we just took in the 5th round this past year, give up a 5th round pick for Isaiah Simmons and put him at edge rusher and see what the kid's got. See what he could do at edge rusher. You may have something. He's got the build for it.
What are you going to do with Kayvon Thibodeau?
I mean, he'll be a rotational piece. Would you prefer Isaiah Simmons on the outside or Jihad Ward?
Probably Ward.
Why? Just because he's fat, like fatter?
No, because of the fact that he is actually a professional. He knows the wink defense. He plays this position. While at times he does disappear, at times he also is a player that is in the right position, and his experience allows him to do that. And I think he offers a lot more stability on that defense than an Isaiah Simmons would. Like I said, I'm not a big Ward fan. I'm not the guy that's,
I like him. I just don't think he's like he's
like
not
him
a
as a player, but
guy.
he is a guy that, in my mind, when he is on the field, especially early in the games, he does good things. And he is also a guy that knows the wink system, has played wink for years, and he is a professional at his position. Isaiah Simmons, we don't know what his position is. And you may put him in that pass rushing position. He could turn into a Hassan Reddick. He could turn into a Mike Mamula.
He could. And Chris, to address what you're saying, and he had 7.5 sacks in 3 years, but like what Max just said, he wasn't playing edge rusher. He was playing inside linebacker. They've put him at inside linebacker. They put him at safety. They've tried to maneuver him. They've never put him. And for the life of me, I don't understand it, because they did it with Hassan Reddick, but they waited too fucking long. They put Hassan there his last year, and he blew up, and they couldn't re-sign him. When they've had this guy on there, why not put him at edge rusher? It already worked once.
And here's my question, though. Here's my question. And I want to get off this topic because I got a whole bunch of chats I want to get through. Maybe they did. Maybe they tried. Maybe they tried it in practice. Maybe they tried it in camp. The Arizona defense outside of last year has been a pretty good defense. They had at one point in time before all the injuries occurred, when they had JJ Watts and everything going on there, they were considered for those first 9-10 games of the season to have a championship defense. So maybe they felt that he can't handle that, and maybe because they saw what they did with Hassan Reddick.
Yeah.
Maybe they felt, or maybe they know something. And like I said, a lot of these teams, everyone, and I'm not picking on you. Well, I probably am. Everyone wants to trade for everyone's garbage. And I've said this before a million times. Sometimes people's garbage is just garbage, because of the fact that some things that we think of that they should do, they probably already tried or thought of within the other organization. And they said, in their opinion, he can't do it.
Yeah, but you've worked in the league before. Like, a lot of times, like when Hassan Reddick was getting moved to pass rusher, we saw reports that the Cardinals were practicing him and he was taking reps and stuff like that, and that they were going to move him. We didn't see anything like that.
I will tell you more times than not. And maybe it's because of what Gruden did, or maybe it's what Saban did. You did not know outside of those doors exactly how. A lot of times, Bill Belichick is the biggest prime example. A lot of these practices are locked down. You have no clue what's coming out of the practice. That's why a lot of times certain teams have bar the press on practices, because they don't want the rest of the league to know what they're doing. Now, sometimes people leak information because of the fact that that's just kind of a PR thing, and what they want to get out there, and sometimes they just do it. But a lot of times, you got to admit, a lot of these times we wouldn't have scandals of people trying to record practices of other teams and then have the league basically just go on 24-hour lockdown. So yeah, and this is back in 2000. You never really got a true sense out of a Gruden practice what was going on from the beat writers. But this is also back in the day, back in the early 2003, when beat writers are, I still say beat writers are a little different back in the day than they are now. Beat writers at times were almost like part of the organization. So if a coach,
you mean back then you're talking about?
Yeah, not now. But back in the day.
What do you think changed that?
I think everyone wants to be famous. I think everyone wants to break the big story. I think controversy sells a beat writer being antagonistic and going after a coach and publishing data and information that maybe they shouldn't, that gives them the upper hand in the competition. I think it's the advent of social media, where everyone wants to be a social media giant along with, what they're doing, what the paperwork they're writing. Everyone started off as a beat writer. You go back to like Dick Young of the New York Post and, Steve Serby and guys like that. These were guys that all they did was make their chops and writing for papers. Now it's not just a print media, it's a social media. And everyone knows in social media, you need to one up everyone else to get more likes, clicks, bleeps, to boops, more followers and everything else. So I think in some regards it's the advent of social media, and we've kind of gotten away from protecting the team a little bit. There was stuff that went on, I can tell you, in certain locker room. I'm not going to get into details because what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. But there are things that have happened in locker rooms that I have seen personally with beat writers in the room that never got reported. But this was in the 2000s, early 2000s. Nowadays, something happens, you got 20 videos of it.
Yeah. Well, I think because social media is a lot bigger now, like you said, I think everybody now wants to be famous.
Yeah.
So that you post one thing and you go viral. I mean,
you're trending.
Yeah, you're trending. And I think it's because everybody wants to get like their own show. They want to get like their own podcast or whatever the case may be. Like that's what they want to do.
All right. Don't forget to like when you're in the chat, guys. We're only at 30 something likes. We had 78, almost 80 people at one point in the time in the chat. We're down to 66 right now, but we didn't even get, we got to hit the chat, the like, whatever the hell it's fucking called. See, it's social media. I'm telling people at the chat because it helps the channel. But let's run through these because we're about 18 minutes behind. Davey says, so who's the rookie free agent might find his way to start a game as a rookie? I don't know. Tom Brady was the king of the pay cut.
He was.
He really was. JMS is plug and play. I hope he's plug and play. He's got to be plug and play.
I think he's good. I think he will be. I think he'll be the day one starter.
I think he'll be the day one starter because I think he has to, also out of necessity. Tom Brady was married to the highest paid model in the world, Giselle, $100 million per year. Using Tom Brady as an example is a bad example. He didn't need the salary. Isn't he divorced?
Yeah, he's divorced, but he got with Giselle. He was underpaid even before he started dating Giselle. What the fuck?
Dave says, Michael Jordan might have been underpaid, part unlikely Pippen, who lost his wife to a rat.
Damn, that's tough.
That's messed up. That's still gets so much got. Curtis says, without Barkley, there is no offense. Let's see. The earliest evidence of written math dates back to Sumerians, who built the earliest civilization into Mesopotamia. I actually knew that.
Zach, this is a fucking sports talk show, right? This isn't geography.
First of all, it's not geography. When we're talking about math, it's not geography. And Zach is the Googler. You don't mess with the Googler.
I know. I love Zach. I love you, Zach.
Without Zach Attack, we wouldn't know half this shit because he Googles everything. That's why he is the Googler. We have a Zach sound effect where it's. I have to find it. We're not gonna find it today, but we do a little bit of Batman with "Who are you, man?"
I'm the Googler
because that's what he does all the time. Davey says salary cap should be based on your market share. I don't care if a team is in a small market share. NFL is not charity. Yeah, but they do it because we all know why they do it. Max on the beat says, I think we're going to re-sign Barkley. Hope we do. Jeff Newman says, extend Tyrod Taylor for the cap space. Let's see here. Well, homie says, why don't they convince Barkley to play the tag this year and extend him next year? Because he wants his money. And the life of an NFL running back is very short. I think it's 4.5 years is the average.
Yeah, 26, 27.
Yeah.
Like when they start falling off.
The trucker says, extend Andrew Thomas. We got the Jose G coming in. Love the fact this channel actually covers a real story, salary cap situation, instead of thinking that it doesn't factor into decisions. Max on the beat says, cut Darnay Holmes with three, re-sign Barkley for 5, and then cut Sills and Marcus Johnson for 2.
Marcus Johnson is cut.
Did they bring him back?
I don't remember them bringing him back. Is Unless on the practice squad?
Right now there's not a practice squad.
I don't think he's on the roster. I didn't see him out. I don't see him out there.
I do not see Marcus Johnson on the roster. I had to just quickly write through. Davey says, I have been told that working for Agent Wyatt from West Virginia is a number 1. Max of the B. Vice Ford Wheaton isn't a number one. I think he was just being facetious. Jeff says, Timmy, I like Aaron Rodgers. Went to the wrong team. He should have replaced Daniel Jones. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is the best number right now in New York. Sorry, guys. Jay Emanuel says, Giants gave Saquon money to Slayton. Kind of
Potentially.
Potentially, there's Big Dash. And for those that don't know, Big Dash knows he's an up and coming giant YouTuber as well. We wouldn't be big spenders anyways in 2024. I have to agree with that.
I disagree with that.
I don't think Shane's gonna run through the cap space.
I think if we have another season like we did last year, yeah, he will.
Razzle the Great, super late. Smash the thumbs up if you haven't. We got a 2 for 2 for Big Dash, maybe a guard, but outside of that, no big money spent per target. I actually have to agree. I just don't see. I just don't see it. If
we're on the cusp of making the playoffs, or just say we make the playoffs again and we lose like in the first round, yes, or we win again and then like lose in the division, yeah, I think he will spend.
Mr. Authentic was also in the chat, and I didn't see it. First time actually catching y'all live together.
My guy Authentic, what's up?
Mr. Authentic, of course, everyone knows it's Authentic and the Beard. Make sure you check out that podcast. And
that's why I'm growing in my beard. Maybe I'll pop on their show sometime. You gotta have a beard to be on there.
Chris says, yes, we need 3 linebackers. Dash says, Troy Brown has a chance of making the 53. I think he has a chance of making the 53, but I think he has a chance of making the 53 as a special teamer. He was in,
and just because we need the depth there, so.
That's it. And honestly, like I said, if you look at his size, he's barely 6 feet. Not the most not slow, but not fleet of foot. Has what I always refer to. He had tendencies of getting lost in the sauce when he's traveling towards the ball carrier. I think if he finds a niche, it's gonna be on special teams. And there's
another Jay Crowder. Sorry, guys.
Tay Crowder, man, had 130 tackles one year.
Hey, my name is Tay. Tay Crowder.
Had 130 tackles. Except for
133 tackles.
Except the fact that Tim likes to point out of him that only 40 of them were solo.
Hey, can we talk about the fact how they replaced Devin Bush with Tay Crowder in fucking Pittsburgh?
I know, I saw that.
Oh my god! Watch him go off this year and have like 150 tackles, and we're all making fun of him, and he's like a top tier linebacker.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either, but it's the Giants fans. That's our luck.
I wasn't bashing for making 130 tackles, but I've said this a million times before. That was a bad team that year that he made those tackles, and on a bad team, said it before a million times, someone has to make tackles. And the fact that he had almost twice as many assists that he did solo tackles as a middle linebacker, that was really bad. That was a really bad thing. Special team guy. I think he's a special teams guy. Like I said, he came from a smaller school, and then I think he was a Chippewa, Troy Brown, that is, and then he moved on. So like I said, he has an opportunity. Let's see here. We usually have one linebacker anyway, so Bobby fills that. You dropped strong safety. I worry about that, but I have confidence as long as Banks does well. He should be fine. Plus, we hope, what the thing is this, and a lot of people, yes, we forget about to talk about that. Especially with the last 4 years, a lot of our safeties are more in the box safeties, that they're quasi middle linebackers or outside linebackers.
Yeah, they're sub linebackers. Yeah.
So, I mean, we've always talked about that. If you go back to, you go back to even 3-4 years ago, we had people, Peppers was playing at one point in time, but I think it was like 78% of his plays in the box.
Yeah, in the box. Yep.
Yeah. So
that's where I think Belton's going to play.
I
think that's where Belton is going to play next year. And I think they're going to have like Bobby McCain and McKinney like in the back end.
Let's see here. Jones has a good camp every year. True, Chris. Let's see here that Chris can't see anyone like him being a starter. Depth on special teams. Yeah, I think he's going to be a special teams guy. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Carter Coughlin, Cam Brown are expendable. Yes, they are. Even though they are good special teams player. Carter Coughlin, man, you just figure Carter Coughlin. What the hell happened to Carter Coughlin?
I disagree with Big Dash 100%. I don't think those guys are expendable. Cam Brown was a special teams captain last year, and Carter Coughlin is great on special teams, and he's a good spell guy. He can come in. He's made some plays before. Maybe Carter Coughlin, maybe, but not Cam Brown. Cam Brown is
Carter Coughlin had the big game in Seattle 3 years ago or 4 years ago now, where he basically shadowed and contained Russell Wilson into one of the best coached and one of the best well thought out game plans I have seen ever for the Giants was that Seattle game. they won back in that 6-10 season.
That was when Colt McCoy was the quarterback.
Colt McCoy, one of the best game plan games I had ever seen in the NFL was that game, because there was no chance the Giants should have won that game with Colt McCoy starting at quarterback and the talent level they had. But that was probably
They played great defense that game.
That was probably one of the best schemed games. And it was funny though, because I was watching that game and they kept pounding the ball. They kept pounding the rock. And I kept saying, and I had people over the house and they said, you know what's going to happen? They said they're going to take a shot early in the third and score, because they've lulled them into such a doldrums and reference to what they're running the offense. And what happens is Colt McCoy hits the big pass, Giants get the touchdown, and that was pretty much the end of the game. That was probably, like I said, and then you just controlled the clock. But Carter Coughlin had a game where he just was he was like, stink on shit, in reference to being the way he was with Russell Wilson. It was, and I think a lot of people still use that game as a lot of times Giant fans point at the Daniel Jones Tampa game, that rookie game, as his best game, and the reason why they love him. That was a game that I think Carter Coughlin made himself a fan favorite, but then the problem was, he kind of went to the wayside after that. T-Brad says Wonka knows no bounds. Yes, of course, the Wonka always knows no bounds. Rob has learned his lessons. Let's see here. Chris says I'm not trading 2024 draft capital for Simmons. So let's see here. What else we got here? They say cause Hassan is from Philly, he's giving them a home team discount. I can see that. Let's see. Eric Gray can replace Barkley. I would not give him a long-term contract. I am sorry. And I think
that's too early to say.
I think it's way too early to say. And I don't know what people see enough in Gray to say that he
hasn't even taken a fucking snap yet in a real game.
Sort of like Brandon Wheaton Ford.
Oh my God.
Well, you can't.
I agree with that.
You can't have two different philosophies on play.
No. I listen. I agree with both. They haven't taken any snaps yet in real life. So before we're killing one, fuck Barkley. Let's move Eric Gray or Bryce Ford Wheaton. He's Jerry Wright. Let them play first.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I said the whole front of the show. And you got yourself wonking over that. No, you got your wonking over
it. I agree with you. I agreed with you.
All right. Nobody likes to kiss ass.
I agree with you. I get fucking put in timeout. I disagree with you. I get fucking put in timeout. I just can't win, baby.
No, you can't. I always tell people I don't take compliments well.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me that. Fuck.
I've told people that. I told you someone gave me a compliment. My response to them was
another thing you told me and I didn't listen.
Exactly. Let's see. Razzle's going to eat dirt. Max on the beat says he would rather have dirt. Razzle says God made dirt, so dirt won't hurt. I like that. That was our conversation. Where would you rather eat, dirt or glass? Davey, what are you smoking? It's either Maui Wowie or let's see here. Simmons had 7.5 sacks in 3 years. Probably pushed, may not have been. Yeah, we already got to that. Gray can't touch Barkley. Can't touch us. No. Let's see here. Jose G. Davey, we really don't have anything on offense but Barkley. Every other piece is questionable. Jones doesn't scare anyone. I don't think he ever will. But Barkley scares everyone.
Agreed.
I will say this. I
agree with that.
I spoke to someone that's over in Washington. Now, I think we can all admit that Washington is probably not going to be good this year because, you don't really have a true, I don't know who the hell they're even going to get to play quarterback. And you didn't pick up Chase Young's 5th-year options. There's the new ownership. There's a whole bunch of turmoil in the capital city. And I laughed because I spoke to someone and we were just kind of joking around. I said, well, we're going to be, you're going to be 0-2 versus this year. And it was funny because he just stopped for a minute and just laughed. And I was like, what? And he goes, we're not worried. And this is the guy that works for Washington. He's like, we're not worried. And I asked him, what are you not worried about? And he knows my opinion on Daniel Jones. And he's like, yes. I was like, okay. All righty then.
Here we go.
I thought that spoke louder than words. Chris says, how does his pass rush? We're not going to get into the pass rushes anymore with these people. Let's see here, because it is what it is. We're not getting Isaiah Simmons. We're not getting Patrick Queen. Everyone just needs to stop. I'm not. Max says he's not a Dan Jones fanboy. I'm just fair. You are, Max. You are very fair, actually. Let's see. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got Evan saying, "What's up, guys?" I met Colin Johnson. Okay, that's right. Colin Johnson, I believe, is on the roster. Yes. T-Brad says worst move this offseason was re-signing Slayton.
I would say it's the worst move. It was the head scratcher.
I agree and disagree because I always felt that Slayton, when given the time and the opportunity, is a second or third wide receiver. I sat there for the first 4 weeks of the season. So I don't understand why he's not playing. And I think he will be. I never think he's going to be a number one. But you could drop him in on the 2 spot. You could definitely drop him in the 3 spot. Hell, you drop him in the 4 spot. And I still think he's a quality. I think he's a quality NFL wide receiver. I never think he's going to be great. He's not a Reuben Randall, and he's not going to be a D-Hop, but he's kind of somewhere in between. And the league is filled with professional players that aren't Pro Bowlers.
Like if we didn't sign Paris Campbell, then I would understand re-signing Slayton. But because they're allegedly they're going to play like they can do the same thing. But I think if he's on the field, I think Paris Campbell can do things better than Slayton can. So like people, in my opinion, I think he's got a better route tree. I think he's got better hands. People want to sit here and say that Jalen Hyatt is just a speed guy. That's what Slayton is. He's just a speed guy.
But he's also a speed guy that can get open and get separation and when the ball is thrown to him.
If he catches it.
And also there's been plenty of times that the ball was never thrown.
Agreed.
I can think of at least 7 plays last year where Slayton was open and we never even looked that side of the field. So maybe that was just a play by design. But if you have one-on-one coverage on with your speed guy
you try to take advantage of that. Yeah.
You at least turn your head to that direction.
Agreed.
I think that's, but like I said, and also I take Slayton over Campbell for the obvious reason. We don't know if Campbell's going to stay healthy.
But to be fair, Slayton's been injured the last couple of years too. Last year he didn't get hurt.
But how many more games has Slayton played than Campbell?
He's played a lot more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you've had Campbell had 1 year out of 5 where he didn't miss significant.
I just don't feel that Slayton's production is irreplaceable. Like I don't feel like what he's been putting up since he's been in the league isn't duplicable. Like I feel like you could bring somebody in with a similar skill set and get the same production.
You mentioned that the quarterback is a big reason why a wide receiver succeeds or doesn't succeed in the league. Did you?
I don't recall. A quarterback.
An hour ago.
What do you mean?
You said an hour ago.
You mean with Bryce? Yeah, but but the thing is, if you're talking about, if you're comparing it to like
who has been Slayton's quarterback since 19?
Daniel Jones, and he had Eli. He played better with Eli than he did with Jones.
Yes, but he's played the majority of the time, the majority. Yeah, that was the right word of his games in 19 with Darius Slayton. With Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
this is a guy that out of 4 years has played in 59 games, started 40. He's only missed 2 games in 19. He played all of his games in 20. He missed 3 games in 2021, and he played all 16 last year. He's had 700 yards. He had 3 700-yard seasons out of 4.
So he's a number 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He is a number 2, definitely a number 3.
But I'm not paying a number 2 $12 million.
Well, let's see exactly what his contract is, because this is what we do here on this show. And I don't think, where did I do with this? Did I not put his contract in my sheet? I don't think I put the Darius Slayton contract in the sheet. No, Darius Slayton this year is making 4.2 in 2023.
He got to fix those dropping problems.
But he's making, so a guy making bringing in 700 yards a year, 4 to 6 touchdowns, making $4 million isn't a bargain. Who's really only missed 4 games in 4 years.
I'm just partially saying it because every time the people were fucking killing Darius Slayton last year, saying we need a number 1, and then all of a sudden the same people that were killing him when we re-signed him, oh my God, Slayton's back, yay! Like it's like give me a break.
Yeah, I don't think he's a number 1, but like I said, I definitely think he's a number 2 and 3, and I think he's a good guy to have on your team. And I think he's a guy. If I can find a guy making $4 million a year that's going to give me 700 yards, start maybe 10, 12 games, and maybe 3-4 touchdowns, I'm taking that at $4 million, and stay healthy enough. I have to take that in $4 million.
And I agree with like what Authentic said. Like D-Hop played is an outlier. He played great with. I think one year he had like 12 different quarterbacks he was playing with, and then Ingram struggled with Jones, went and go play with
But that's
Lawrence, and he performed way better than he did here.
Yeah, no, I'm not. All I'm saying is if I'm getting a guy that's going to give me 700 yards, 4 touchdowns, maybe start 10, 11 games, and maybe miss 1 or 2, and I'm only paying him $4 million.
But my thing is like you go out and you sign Waller, right? They go out and they trade for Waller. Right. You sign Paris Campbell. You were planning on looking into getting a wide receiver in the draft, clearly. Right. Like they were even reports of them trying to move up to get Zay Flowers. What's the point? Like, why invest that money into him when you could have taken that $4 million? Like they could have signed somebody for cheaper if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have invested that money somewhere else.
Wan'Dale Robinson's hurt. Sterling
He doesn't play the same position.
But no, just let me tell you why. Let me explain to you why. Hold on a second. Wan'Dale Robinson is hurt. Sterling Shepard is coming back on a low rent contract, who is always hurt. You then went out and signed Jameis Crowder for only $1 million, better minimum. Same thing. You went out and signed what's his name, Brad Smith, for only $1 million. So right now, without going into the draft, because the Giants didn't know they were going to get Hyatt in the draft. That's why free agency is before the draft. The Giants went out and secured Paris Campbell, and he's only got a $5 million cap number and a $2.9 million dead cap number as well. So at that point in time, before your receiving core, before you made any signings, was Wan'Dale Robinson hurt, Sterling Shepard hurt, Colin Johnson, and then Isaiah Hodges, and then a bunch David Sills and a bunch of nobodies. So if I am Joe Shane, and that's why I think this was a very astute move, if that was your receiving core before free agency, and we had no clue that Jalen Hyatt was going to fall to us, none whatsoever.
So then would you say this? If Wan'Dale Robinson looks like he's on track, maybe to potentially play week 2 or 3, and Shepard is good to go at the beginning of the year, and all of these wide receivers are playing well, is Darius Slayton expendable to be traded?
No. Shepard has a history of injuries and history of major injuries the last 2 years. Wan'Dale Robinson, I'm not saying he had his Kadarius Toney moment, but he had one good game where he got injured in. If I'm the Giants, yes, I may be saying to people I'm in the middle of a rebuild, but I'm also, you say you're in a rebuild, but in the back of their minds, they're like, we did win 9 games last year. What's to stop us from winning 9 games again this year? And you're bringing in a guy making $4 million who's going to give you 700 yards, maybe 3-4 touchdowns. And like I said, this was before the draft. So like I said, unless Joe Shane had a crystal ball and knew that the Raiders were going to give up on Waller and knew that Jalen Hyatt was going to fall to us, he went out and got the best players available.
But he signed Slayton after he traded for Waller.
Did he sign him after he traded for Waller?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
He traded for Waller. They signed Campbell. Slayton wasn't signed until like day 3 of free agency.
Then that makes it even a better move. Because like I said, you got a guy making $4 million, bringing in 700. And I always love when people say, well, we could replace that 700 yards. Who are you going to replace?
I mean, Isaiah Hodgins was on pace for 80 catches, 10 touchdowns, and like 1,100 yards last year. He was playing.
How many games did Isaiah Hodgins play?
He played from, I don't know, from our halfway point. Like after our bye, he started every game after that. because of injury.
What is his total NFL count?
I think he had like 350 or 400 yards. I don't remember how many touchdowns. I think he was like second on the team for receiving touchdowns, or he might have been leading the team in receiving touchdowns.
Isaiah played 2 games in Buffalo in 2022, and then he played 8 games for the Giants. So he had 33 receptions on 42 targets for 351 yards for 10 yards a catch.
How many touchdowns? Like 5 or 6?
He had 4 touchdowns.
4.
Yes.
So if he would have played the entire season, he would have had 70 catches, almost on pace for 80 catches and almost 1,000 yards, and he would have had double-digit touchdowns.
This is why I love you, man. It's the optimism that I love.
It is. I mean, I'm just going off of the pace.
So no, but you can't go off of that because you don't think the league adjusts to players. And that's why I love with people. That's why I love like with ESPN when they give you the his projected is this. Yeah, if he's to do this, but he'll have a game where he has no catches. He'll have a game where he has 4 catches. He'll have a game that he'll has X amount of catches. I never understand how people can extrapolate the entire season off of like a sample of games because you don't know what's going to happen. And the league changes, the league adjusts, the league shifts. And the thing that worries me about Isaiah Hodges is this: his catch. His yards per catch is 10 yards, which is showing to me that he doesn't have much of a yak.
What was Slayton's?
What was Slayton? 15.7.
Yeah, but I mean, a few of his plays, he was like wide open. Like he had one in the Texans game, then he had one in the Minnesota game.
I was at the Texans game. He was not wide open. He came back. If you watch the film, he came back to make that catch. That was a poorly thrown ball. He came back to catch.
Well, I mean, Jones was falling backwards.
And there's always an excuse for Jones. The wind.
But was he not?
He did. You know, it's funny. It's like the one play where he threw an interception. They're like, well, he couldn't step up. And then you watch the video and he had this clean pocket to step up into.
But the thing is like kind of like what Authentic said. Like Slayton is a lot faster. Is a faster wide receiver, maybe a more athletic wide receiver than Hodgins. Hodgins isn't as fast. If Hodgins was as fast as Slayton was, they like his
give him $4 million.
It would be a lot higher. His YPC, his yards per catch would be higher than 10. It'd be around the 15.
But this is the thing. You have gone out and gotten Waller. You have gone out and re-signed Darius Slayton. You have gone out and got Jalen Hyatt. You have Wan'Dale Robinson. Your offense this year should be downfield. Should be, as we always say,
A vertical.
it should be.
I just don't see how you got Waller. You're gonna have Wan'Dale coming back. You signed Paris Campbell. You have Hodgins there. You drafted Hyatt, and you brought back Slayton. Like, how are all these guys playing?
They're not. That's what
I'm saying.
Like the team. This is where I'm going with this.
But Paris Campbell is going to make the team. Hodgins is going to make the team. Wan'Dale is going to make the team. Slayton's going to make the team. So I mean, Shepard's going to make the team. I mean, so we're going to run out there. We're probably going to have 7 or 8 wide receivers active.
And then you probably have the opportunity for Brad Smith and Crowder to make the team as well, because both of those guys can do more.
I think Brad's going to be a special teams guy.
Right. So that's why
I think your 8 guys.
You have to have at least 2 of those guys special teamers.
Barring any major injury, I think going into the back end of the season, you're going to have these are going to be your 8 wide receivers. It's going to be Hyatt, Hodgins, Slayton, Wan'Dale, Campbell, Wheaton, Smith, and I'm missing one. Who am I missing? Did I say Campbell?
Yeah.
I'm missing one. Wan'Dale. Sterling. Sterling Shepard will be 8. Those will be your 8 wide receivers. We're going to have 8 active wide receivers. And it's only going to be 8 because I think they're going to have Brad Smith on special teams. They're going to keep him active strictly for that purpose.
Yep. So who's going to return punts?
Probably.
We're not putting a Dory Jackson back.
Well, I mean, they might put a Dory Jackson there now now that they have Banks, but like, honestly, if you want me to be honest, I would put Paris or Wandale Robinson back there to return punts.
I would put Wandale back there.
I'd put Wandale or Paris Campbell returning punts, and I would have Brad Smith returning kicks. Or if you want, you could put Eric Gray, because Eric Gray did special teams in Tennessee before he transferred to Oklahoma. He did a little bit of special teams. So you could have Eric Gray be the kickoff returner.
If he makes the team. Yeah, I agree.
Eric Gray's making the team.
If he can make, like I said, I don't know that. You don't know.
He's going to make the team. He'll make the team. He'll make the team. I agree. I think he'll make the team.
I think, like I said, I always take the wait and see approach, at least until they get into camp, or until at least we see that first preseason game. And to Mr. Authentic's point, I said I thought I was going to bring this up too. I think Hyatt may return punts.
But if he's going to be if he's not going to be a starting wide receiver and he's going to be a rotational, but I think once he becomes a starter, I don't think so. You also have Pimpleton. Like, what are they doing with that guy? He was a special teamer in Detroit.
I think it's the same thing with OBJ. OBJ early in his career returned punts. And then once he became OBJ, he only went back to return punts when the Giants were down.
Needed it.
Play. That's the only time. And I think that's the same thing they're going to do with Jalen. I think it's one of those guys that, you know, while he may not have the best route running ability, while he may not have the best intangibles, but when he gets his hands on the ball, he has the wherewithal and the burners to make a big play. And I kind of think that's where they're going to go with that direction early in the season, and then kind of go from there.
Authentic's got another question here too. He says Daniel Jones is back to par for me.
Here we go.
You think he makes another leap this season? He has to. And I don't think the pieces that we've added around him are an excuse of why he wouldn't. You have Hyatt. They got you Waller. You've got weapons now. You know, you got a center. Hopefully that helps, somewhat improve.
You drafted a right tackle last year.
I think Neal is going to be a stud this year. I really do.
I think he's going to play better this year. And
I think he's going to play a lot better. Hopefully JMS comes in and plays well enough and anchors down the center position. And you got weapons. There should be no reason why. I'll say this, and maybe this is wrong for me to say. I don't think there should be, with what we have right now, there should be no reason why we are not talking about Daniel Jones midway through the season, the same way we were talking about Jalen Hurts last year, about Daniel potentially being in the MVP conversation.
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
I always think sometimes we need a PSA.
Listen, I'm not saying he will.
We needed that PSA.
I agree. Shout out to the water boy and LT. I don't think, but I'm saying, like, there's no reason why I don't think that with what he has that he should not be in that conversation. And if he's not, then he's not the guy. Like he's not the guy. He's not.
I've said this a million times. I'm going to say it again. We're actually going to wrap up, but I've said this a million times. Daniel Jones has no more excuses. You went out and got him a wide receiver last year. Yes, he got hurt. You went out and got him not only Neal, but other offensive linemen to help fix this line. You're going to pay Andrew Thomas. You went out and drafted a center this year. You went out and traded for Waller. You went out and signed Campbell. You went out and then turned around and got Hyatt. You went out and re-signed Darius Slayton. You had brought in pieces. Just if you tagged Saquon Barkley, you have gone out and got pieces that you're putting around Daniel Jones, because all we've heard over and over again are excuses. There are no more excuses. This is it. If Daniel Jones does not have 4,200 yards, 35 touchdowns, I'll give him 15 interceptions, at least 500 yards rushing, another 7 touchdowns rushing. Season's a failure because of the fact I am paying you like you are Patrick Mahomes. I am paying you like you're going to be like Joe Burrows is going to get paid. I am paying you as you are a top 5 quarterback. You have now been given what we have heard for years that he does not have. And if he puts up the same pedestrian numbers that he did last year, even if the Giants win, it's still a failure. It still shows me that 3,000
he puts
yards,
up similar stats to what
if
he
he
did
puts up
last year.
3,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, another 500 yards rushing, another 4 or 5 touchdowns rushing, it's a failure. It's
He's got to break 4K throwing the football.
You got to throw at least for 4,000 yards. You got to throw at least 35 touchdowns. You know, like I said, I'll give you 15 interceptions. Interceptions don't. A lot of people get hung up on interceptions. Sometimes interceptions, yes, they hurt. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes interceptions.
I won't say 35 touchdowns. If he could throw for 25, 28, like, because I mean, you're talking about you're going to throw 20 more touchdowns. Like, I mean, that's a lot. If he could throw 25 to 28 touchdowns, I say he needs to have over 30 combined between rushing and passing. If he has over 30 combined total touchdowns and he has close to 5,000 total yards, so he's got like 4,200 or 4,300 passing, and he's got like another 500 or 600 rushing, then that's 5,000, almost close to 5,000 total yards, over 30 total touchdowns. I don't care about the interceptions.
They're big time salary guys that he's being aligned with now. Mahomes 41, Josh Allen 35, Joe Burrows 35.
But Mahomes is not as athletic as Daniel Jones is. Who else did you say?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. All right, you can compare. But what is Josh Allen? Josh Allen doesn't have Saquon Barkley. So what is Josh average in rushing? He averages close to.
Josh Allen only threw the ball 567 times. Do you know that?
Only 500. I mean, only 567 times.
648, 606, 643, 733, 699. These are some.
What is this rushing?
No, these are passing attempts.
By who?
Tom Brady 733, Justin Herbert 699, Patrick Mahomes 648, Kirk Cousins 643, Joe Burrow 606, Jared Goff 597. Then we get into Trevor Lawrence 584, Geno Smith 572. Then finally Josh Allen at 567.
How many passing attempts did Jones have?
Let me see here. This is Zach's job, not mine. 472.
So he's going to break. So he's probably going to break 500 this year.
He's got to break 500. And if he just throws 100 more passes, he would have thrown 10 more passes than Josh Allen last year. That's what I'm saying. You need it's put up or shut up time. You need to throw the ball at least 500 times. You need to be an NFL quarterback. And
I agree.
NFL quarterback throws the ball at least 500 times. The dangerous David Mills threw more passes than Daniel Jones.
Well, I mean, that team was awful. But
yeah,
I mean,
they didn't throw the ball often because of the fact that Davis Mills sucks. Well, he doesn't suck.
Well, I mean, they were playing from behind a lot, so they were throwing the ball a lot. My thing is, I stand by what I said. I think if he's got close to 5,000 total yards, over 30 total combined touchdowns, and I like if he's throwing for 25, 28 touchdowns, and he's got 10 or 12 interceptions, I'm not gonna fight. Like, I'm not gonna kill him for it. But I mean, if you're throwing 25 touchdowns and you have like 16 or 17 interceptions, then I have a problem with that. Like that, I have a problem with, because you're throwing almost the same amount of interceptions that you're throwing as far as touchdowns. So like, if he's got like, let's just say he's got 25 touchdowns on 11 or 12 interceptions, and he's got like another 6 rush. I'll give him 6 rushing touchdowns because I think that's more than capable. That's 31 total touchdowns. Say he's got like 600 yards on the ground and he's got 4,200 passing yards, giving him like a little bit over 4,800 yards. Then okay, I can rock with that. I can rock with that.
Do you think that's possible?
I think with what he's got, I think it's possible with what he's got that he could do it. And if he doesn't do it, then he's not the guy. If he don't do that, that is more than capable number. Am I like chat? Like, am I like being fucking crazy here? Is 4,800 total yards total? I'm not talking like just passing. I'm talking total yards with Waller, Wandale, Slayton, Campbell, Hyatt. That's just 5 guys. Not to mention you got Saquon Barkley coming out the backfield that can catch fucking passes too. You're going to tell me he can't throw for 4,200 yards? Like that is that like he should be capable of doing that. If he don't throw for 4,200 yards, he is not the quarterback that I want. Period. I like that's it. That is it. If you can't throw for 4,200 yards with what you've got right now, get the fuck out of here because that's a joke. I'm being nice. Some people are saying they want like 4,500, some like craziness. I'm just saying 42. I think 4,200 yards is more than capable, more than like that is easy. It's like cheating on a test with the fucking answer sitting right next to you.
I want to run
It's like
through
having an open book test.
I want to run through these real quick right there. The man for the Masculine and Alpha Networks. It's 35 touchdowns, 12 to 15 receptions, 4,000 yards. That's expected from Danny Bottom Lines. Jose says, Max, the Jets have a quarterback. Bad name. Yeah, they do have a bad name, man. Aaron Rodgers. Chris says, Mahomes. This is what I wanted to get to real quick because he is 100% right. Mahomes is far more elusive of a runner than Daniel Jones. It doesn't get confused with straight line speed. We've talked about this all the time on the show. Their 40s were comparable, but Mahomes' 10-yard split measurable burst was slightly better. Daniel Jones, like I said, Daniel Jones is not a scrambler. Daniel Jones is not a running quarterback. Daniel Jones run vis-a-vis design. And it takes, and every offense coordinator has, he understood. You take care, you attack, use Jones to attack the over aggressiveness of a defense. That's why he's always had big runs against Philadelphia and Washington. Because those defenses have always been over aggressive and they overcommit on plays, which gives the entire the middle of the field open. That's what Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones is not a scrambling quarterback. Daniel Jones, in my mind, is not a running quarterback. Daniel Jones is a running by design quarterback. And it's not knocking Daniel Jones. It's just that's what he is. I mean, and I think his statistical play shows it. Mr. Authentic says, it's Groundhog's Day with Daniel Jones. I said the same thing 2 years about, but his stats should be near breach. They better not run it back and give us 20 passing touchdowns again. He didn't even get 20, he got 15. He's gotta, and this, like I said, this is not the Daniel Jones show, but he's like I said,
now that they paid him.
Well, I'm saying that's why I said 4,300 yards. Another 35 touchdowns. And I'm not even saying, I'm saying maybe 400 or 500 yards rushing because I think the league is going to shift and understand this is what you do to stop Daniel Jones. So I think if he gets 400 yards, I'm happy with that. So I'm talking a total of 4,700 yards and 40 touchdowns combined.
And here's the thing that nobody brings up, what you just said, right? We talk about this all the time, guys. The 31 teams in the National Football League saw what Daniel Jones did last year.
Saw what Dable did, yes.
Okay. And so they know what Daniel, how he plays, how he runs, what they're going to do offensively, right? Now that teams have the tape on you, Daniel, what are you going to do? If they got the tape on him and Daniel is still exceeding, that's good. But if they are going ahead and they're going to force Daniel Jones to stay in the pocket, which teams are going to do, like just so that you know, teams are going to try to keep him in the pocket next year, not allow him to get off on the run. And I think Authentic was touching on this like during the season. Daniel Jones is best when he rolls out to his right. When you get him out on the perimeter, he is the best. He broke it down like by the percentages and everything like that. He broke it down. If he is not able to get out to the perimeter, how is he doing things in the pocket? And if he struggles in the pocket to make reads where he's, again, holding the ball, not making the pass, he's trying to tuck it and run, getting tackled 2 to 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, then what the fuck are we doing?
I've pointed this out at the Texans game and the Bears game. The Bears and Texans all got killed in the first half because it was Daniel Jones play action rollout. They gave him a tight end, and his second option was to run. If the linebacker if he couldn't get the ball over the linebacker to get it to the tight end, or the fact that there was no linebacker there, he would throw the ball. If not, he would just run. And they killed the Texans and the Bears. Second half, Texans, they shut it down. And I laugh because in the Texans game, they ran play action rollout, I believe almost 3 times in a row. Same play.
And he got stuffed.
And he got stuffed. And then in the second half, it was the same thing in the Washington tie game. I was there for that fiasco.
They ran it in the playoff game against Minnesota.
They ran it in the playoff game. And you know what? They did the same thing. For Washington couldn't figure it out in the first half. And I don't understand how it's so difficult to figure out as a pro that, listen, if they run a play action rollout, they're only giving them one option. The second option is to run. But then they shut it down in the second half, came back, and they tied in. And, we had the overtime tie. So to Rob's point, yes, the league now has film on the Daniel Jones play action rollout to the right, and leave it there. And like I said, the Bears game to me was the epitome of it because of the fact that the Giants should have steamrolled over the Bears and Justin Fields that day.
They should have put up 40 points.
They looked like in that first half that they were going to destroy them. They really did. And I thought we were going to have the blowout game against a bad team. And I even think I said on one of the streams or something beforehand, I think the Giants could beat these guys by like 30. And then the second half, they figured it out. And
didn't we only win that game by like 6 points?
It turned in. If Justin Fields would have hit some guys and some people didn't drop some balls, the Giants would have lost that game. But the Giants defense also came up big in a couple big spots. But they just destroyed the offense. They shut down the offense. And of course, people talk about the injuries, the Dan Jones and everything else, blah, 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 blah. But this was before everything that happened. They just figured it out and shut it down quick. And that's what the rest of the league is going to do. They've had an entire offseason to look at the film from last year and what the Giants offense did. That's why
they're going to see how they're going to play.
That's why I think they're going to change their offensive philosophy almost completely this year. And that's why I think they have gone for a lot of guys that are vertical guys.
I think they're going to have to, because they are going to have to open it up dramatically, because I don't think that they're going to be able to come out and try to run the same simplistic rollout type of offense and think that it's going to work. It's not.
No.
It's not going to at all.
Point, yes, Rob, defense has seasons of tapes on Daniel Jones. Mr. Authentic says, oh man, especially the Bears game. Just rewatched that game. He got 2 easy touchdowns like that. He got the Colts that way as well, 2 touchdowns in each game. Yeah, and then the second half was just it's not a difficult play to diagnose. It was like back in I always go back to the Cleveland game, the Cleveland preseason game 3 years ago, where Cleveland literally showed the entire league in preseason how you beat the Giants. And it was off tackle left, up the middle, over the top, touchdown. And I remember watching that game going, and I did a show the next day about it. I said, this is going to be bad. Because if you figured it out in preseason, and this was in like the first, I think, 12 plays of the game. I was like, and I even said after 12 plays, Cleveland's offense, I said Cleveland has just shown the entire league how to beat the Giant defense, how to beat the Giant first team defense. And then, like I said, and what happened that year?
It's crazy.
All right, guys, we're going to close it out here. We went a lot longer than I thought.
That's what she said.
I want to thank everyone for hanging in there. This was a good stream. I always want to thank Rob. I appreciate coming in every week to deal with this nonsense. And we said it once before because Rob likes the old outro and the old intro. This is Tim. This is Rob, bringing you everything you need to know about New York Giants. We will see you next Sunday for New York Giants Straight Talk, guys.
And we are out of here.